Hey 5M, today is lesson 510. It's going to be about reading circle graphs. Here are some introduction questions for you, just some warm-ups. Press pause, answer these, and then come back to me to check. Okay, you must be back to check. So here are your answers. Let me know if you have any questions about those, or if you were stuck and not sure how to do one. Remember, our test is coming up soon, so you need to know how to answer these questions. Okay, today our learning target is I can use percent circle to measure circle graphs. We're going to be using our templates today to help us, so make sure you have one available for you. There's a math message here. I want you to look at the circle graph in problem 1 on page 153 in your math journal. For each piece of the graph, I just want you to estimate what fraction and percent of a whole it represents. I want you to label the graph pieces next to the circle piece with your fraction and percent estimates. Remember, the percents when added up should all equal to 100%. Let's go ahead and give that a try. You're looking at page 153, number 1. Come back to me when you're done. Okay, you must be finished, so let's go ahead and look at number 1 together. So if you look at this right away, you can see that this left-hand side looks to take up about half of the circle. So if it's half of the circle, it's going to be about 50%. Okay, now we have 2 more sections to label here. We can put it over here, 50% and 1/2. Okay, we have another half over here to separate, so when we add these up, they should equal 50%. If I'm thinking about it, I know that this is going to be 1/4, so I know that this piece is going to be bigger than 1/4, this piece down here is going to be less than 1/4. So I'm just going to make a guess here. If I was talking percentages, I'm going to probably say this is about 1/3, and I know my percentages are, so 1/3, if you look on your desk template, it'll help you out, figure out what percentage that is, or you might have it memorized. I'm going to write mine out here. Should be 3%. Okay, well, if we have to have our total equal 100, and I know that that's 50% over here, I'm guessing this is about 33. I'm going to think about what's 50 minus 33. Okay, so I'm going to borrow that 10. This is going to be 7. So this should be about 17% down here, is what I'm thinking. Now, 17% as a fraction is, you could write as 1700ths if you'd like to. Okay, then we have to make our own little legend here, which I did partially. I put 50% for the light blue. Our dark blue we're saying is 17%, and then our white we're saying is 33%. Okay, so that's how we're going to be doing these. This is an estimate. We can figure these out on our own just by our knowledge of fractions. But let's move on to using our geometry template for this now. So for our geometry template, it has this nice percent circle right here that's going to help us. Take a look at this. What do you notice about this circle? I want to point out a few things to you. Take a look at that circle. First of all, I want to point out to you that there are 100 equally spaced marks around that circle. Okay, see these tiny little marks? There's 100 of those, so it's already breaking into 100 pieces for you. Those marks show the edges of the thin pieces, and they're shaped like slices of pie, which divide the circle into 100 even pieces. The area of each piece is going to be 1/100th, or 1%. You can think of that as a fraction or as a percentage. And the complete circle, the whole, includes all 100 pieces and represents 100% of the circle. The arc from the 0 to 5% has additional marks at the half position. So let's look at that one together. Okay, if we look right here, from 0 to 5, if we zoom in, do you see how there's lots of there's some tiny ones in there? It's marking every 0.5% as well. Okay. So let's see how we use this now. So you should have your geometry template. You should also have your journal out. Let's look at number 2, and we're going to just place your geometry template right on top of the circle. The center of your percent circle has to be the center of your graph. I'm going to try to line this up as best as I can. There we go. That looks pretty good. And we're going to aim this 0% at the first dividing line. So I put mine straight up so we can look at the different sectors here. Now, if I look on this side, it's going to tell me this is about 70% if I go to the left. I don't want to go to the left. You need to go clockwise to the right to read these. So this first one, if I start at 0 and it goes all the way down here, it looks like it's going to be about 46%. Okay, that white part. So I'm going to write that down. Okay. Also, I want to look at my fractions. So what fraction of a circle is really close to 46%? Line that back up. If you look at these dotted lines that pass through right here, that's breaking it up into the fractions. And I don't really see a great fraction for this. I know 50% is 50, but I don't see another nice fraction for there. So another thing I can do if it doesn't line up with a fraction is I know that that's 46 out of 100. So I can write that. 46 over 100. Okay, which would be 46%. All right, now that first piece is pretty easy. Now for the second piece, I have, I'm going to just rotate this around. I'm going to take my geometry template and I'm going to rotate it. So easier because you just have real templates. But I'm going to make my 0 so it lines up at the beginning of this dark blue piece. It's my goal. That looks close. Let's scoot it over here. I'm still going to put my middle on the middle of the circle. All right, I'm not quite there. Got to keep twisting until my 0 gets right there on the beginning of that dark blue section. Still not quite there. Getting closer. All right, so here's my dark blue section. I've got it lined up right here at the 0%, and now I can see that that goes just to past the 20, probably 21, 22% is what I would go with for that. Actually, let's scoot it, make sure I'm in the center. Could also probably go with 21% or 20% there, or 1/5. Okay, scoot that out of the way. So I'm going to put 20%, which is 1/5 of my circle. Okay, and then I'm going to just continue to rotate my template around to the beginning of the light blue section. Line it up right on the middle there. Okay, so my light blue section is going to look about 33%, and right at that 1/3 mark. 33% and 1/3. Move this out of the way. So 1/3 about of this is blue, light blue, which is about 33%. Now I need to look at my math here because my percentages should all add up to 100. So I have 33 plus 20 would be 53. Plus 6 would be 59. Plus 4, I'm at 99%. So I'm probably going to need to bump one of these up. I'm going to bump up my 46 to 47% because that's the one that wasn't at a perfect fraction. But the key is that when you add these all up, they have to be 100%. Okay, so that one's we're going to change to 47%. All right, now I have to make sure that I write my percents down here as well. So my dark blue is 20%. My light blue was 33%. And then my white was 47%. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more of these. I want you to take your time and go ahead and measure these all out. And then go ahead and come back to me when you're ready to check them. Okay, you must be back. I'm ready to check. So these are the answers you should get. I just filled in the percentages at the bottom. I didn't go around and fill in the fractions. If you got something different, though, please raise your hand or give it another look to make sure you're doing it correctly. Your assignment today is going to be page 154 in your math journal. What that's going to be asking you to do is to be looking at a big circle graph to estimate each percent, and then use your percent circle to measure it to get as close as you can. Make sure, again, all of yours equal up to be 100%. And then after you finish that, you're going to work on worksheet page 48. You're going to be reading some different pie graphs and trying to figure out which data they might line up with. Then there's some review division problems at the bottom. Okay. If you have time at the end, I would like you to work on some math boxes. If those division problems at the end take you quite a bit of time, it's fine if you don't get to the math boxes today. All right. Thanks for working hard, guys.